We are now just 172 days away from the release of The Rise of Skywalker by director J.J. Abrams, and with each and every month that passes by, we are only getting closer to the official release of this movie, where we will finally be able to see J.J. Abrams' vision of the end of the Skywalker saga. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So I think by far what's the most exciting piece of Episode 9 is exactly how both Rey and Kylo Ren are going to interact with each other, and exactly how Palpatine really is going to fall into the plot of this movie, and what he's really going to be like on the big screen in motion. I think that's one of the big things a lot of fans are really looking forward to seeing by J.J. Abrams, by Chris Terrio, and even George Lucas, who had a lot of input and had a lot of involvement in this movie, which is really great to know. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions and one of the set leaks, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that shot descriptions consisting of both Rey and Kylo Ren in a standoff with Palpatine, where they are said to be wielding opposite lightsabers, where Kylo is holding Rey's and Rey is holding Kylo's crossguard. One of the scenes is said to involve Palpatine using the Force lightning technique at both Kylo and Rey, where they are both able to block the attack with their sabers. It's described that as Palpatine uses the attack, Rey and Kylo slowly are walking closer to Palpatine as the lightning is still going, which causes Palpatine to fly backward. Another sequence is said to involve all three of them locking their lightsabers together, where once they clash, it's described that the environment around Palpatine, Rey, and Kylo begins to morph into a dark Sith cave of some kind, where many statues of ancient Sith can be seen in the background. It's implied that this is a place and home of the Dark Acolytes and of the body that the spirit of Sidious took over. The scenery is said to be based off of one of the books from Star Wars The Expanded Universe that J.J. Abrams applied to the Flash fights. The last describes a scene in which Palpatine uses some kind of new power that creates a shockwave of energy colored in a blue hue that sends Kylo and Rey flying backwards as well, where they are said to be weakened from the attack itself. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, because we do know that Episode 9 is going to be a film that not only introduces new Force powers, but it's also going to introduce a new medium of the Star Wars franchise, and that is indeed possession. Now, we do know that this spirit of Sidious is going to take over the Dark Acolyte's body and will become Palpatine himself in a younger body. So you can see how they're somewhat basing that off of legends where Palpatine cloned himself and went into a clone of his own body. This is a little bit different, where Palpatine's now going into the body of the Dark Acolyte. I want to explain one of the Flash fights, what's really interesting to me the most about this, and how they are eventually either, brought back to the Dark Acolyte's home, or all the different Acolytes, and where they actually reside over in the Beyond. Now, one of the Flash fights is said to take place over in a dark Sith cave, with a lot of Sith statues seen in the background. Now, it is implied that this is the home of the Acolytes of the Beyond, and is placed over in the Beyond, where both Rey, Kylo, and Palpatine are fighting each other in a major lightsaber duel. Now, the Beyond is a very mysterious part of the galaxy that we really know little to nothing about as we speak right now. So the Flash fights are not only going to visit, iconic and familiar locations from the Skywalker saga, ranging all the way from Episodes 1 to Episode 8, but they're also going to explore new and different environments that we have never seen before in the Star Wars franchise, that also either take place in the past or the present. Now, the other piece that I do want to go over is where Palpatine uses the Force lightning technique against both Rey and Kylo Ren, where they are both able to block it using their lightsabers. Now, this to me sounds like a very interesting piece of cinematography, where you're going to have both Rey and Kylo Ren fighting Palpatine on top of this wreckage, which most likely, by the way, is the Death Star 2. Where they are walking slowly toward Palpatine as he uses the Force lightning technique, to the point where they eventually are able to overload the attack, where it sends Palpatine flying backwards. So that's the very interesting part about Episode 9, is that they are going to introduce a different type of dynamic between both Rey and Kylo, where they are forced to take down Palpatine himself in this story. And I think that the fact that, J.J. Abrams is using this as an example of prequel trilogy choreography, because if you guys have seen the prequels, which I'm sure you guys have, If you look at episodes 1 through 3, we've had a lot of the 2-on-1 lightsaber duels. You know, just as an example, we had Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan going up against Maul. We even had Anakin and Obi-Wan going up against Count Dooku. And the fact that they're bringing back that dynamic in the Star Wars universe, I think is probably one of the big exciting pieces of episode 9, and I'm just hoping that J.J. Abrams really is going to be able to nail this and knock it out of the park and make it and mark it down as the best sequence of the Star Wars sequel trilogy itself. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.